What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Make your next thing a big one. Speaking of entertainment, today on the program, singer, songwriter, saxophonist, Tara Kye Maines. Oh yeah, she's out of Canada. Oh yeah, you know that name. Oh yeah, you've seen some of the videos. You've heard the music. Oh, you haven't? Well, you're going to find out a little bit more about Tara Kye Maines in the next few minutes. So stick around. You're going to want to hear that music. You're going to want to learn. This week's shows, I have two public shows. Count them. Two public shows. On Friday night, I will be at my usual Friday night gig. It's the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. The video dance party karaoke jam. Your favorite place to be. It's the Rab Friday night from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. They got a full bar. The kitchen's open. Pool tables. They got 10 diamond style pool tables and a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, come on out to the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. Be there Friday night. Video dance party, karaoke jam. I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. You provide the entertainment. I'm pressing buttons. They got good drinks, good people, good food. Oh my goodness, the food is delicious. They always send me home with a goodie bag, and I'm so appreciative of that because they got some really good food. And I don't know, the more you eat, I guess if you eat, have some food, have some drinks, have some fun, sing some songs, dance on the dance floor. Good times. And then on Saturday, I will be at the Choctaw VFW in Choctaw, Arkansas. That's real close to Clinton. I mean, some people go, where's Choctaw? Clinton, Arkansas, just a little north of Conway, a little north of Greenbrier, a little north on 65. So head on up there. If you're in Little Rock, head way up there. If you're in Harrison, head way down there to the Choctaw VFW. They got a big room, full bar. They got some pool tables, big giant dance floor, and of course the video dance party karaoke jam with yours truly. So excited to be back at the Choctaw VFW. I've been going there about once a month. That's what they usually been scheduling me once a month at the Choctaw VFW from about 8 p.m. until about 12:30 in the AM. I mean, maybe 9 to 1, depending, but I'm usually all set up by 8 o'clock. So if you're there at 8, it doesn't officially start till 9, but I'll probably be there, and I'll probably let you sing a song. In fact, if you want to sing a song, I'll let you sing a song because I want to hear you sing. It's a good time at the Choctaw VFW. Oh, yes. It's going to be a big weekend. Oh, and I like that when I do the Fridays and Saturdays, I do the one in Conway, the Rab in Conway, then I do the Choctaw VFW. And sometimes I'll see the same people at both shows, even though they're 30 minutes apart. Driving wise. So I'm kind of stoked that people follow me around. I'm very excited about that and appreciative. Speaking of someone that's appreciative of her fans, let's get into it with Tara Kye Maines. I got her on the Skype. So if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDan. Let's Skype Tara Kye Maines now.
Yes, Tara Kye Maines.
That's fantastic. I've been stoked to meet you. All right. I'm so happy that you're finally in front of me on my screen. For those that are listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version because you're getting a little insight, a little view, a sneak peek into the world of Tara Kye Maines. Oh my goodness. Singer, songwriter, and pianist as well?
No, actually, I dabble in piano just enough to learn my parts. I'm an alto saxophone player instead.
Saxophone, sexy sax. All right. Sax, growing up in the 80s, a song wasn't a song unless you had a sax in it. Oh my goodness. I don't know when you grew up, but I'm of the MTV era. I graduated in 1986, but I remember all the hit songs had a sax. What inspired you to play the sax?
Well, you see, I grew up too in the 80s. I graduated in 1988. And so, of course, there were all these amazing saxophone players. There was George Thorogood, Born to be Bad. And if you don't know that song and you play the saxophone, you should put it back in the case and never look at it again.
You know what's funny is, sometimes people will ask me for songs when I'm a DJ, and they'll ask me for the most popular songs, and they'll say, "Hey, do you have that Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars?" And I said, if I don't have it, I need to pack up and go home. There's just those certain songs, there's certain artists that if you're going to be in a cover band or if you're going to learn music, you have to learn from the greats. These are people that we grew up with. You're talking about, definitely, what is it? Bad to the Bone. That, oh, you know what song it is. You know it's time to get on the dance floor. You know it's time to play. Let's get, let's let loose. You've had a hard day at work. Oh, cut loose. But, I'm noticing, and you don't limit yourself. I like that. You have the sweetest voice, the sweetest singing voice, but then you also come out with a rap. Then you come out with some metal, and you come out with some jazz, and you come out with the country song. You have no limits. I got to talk to whoever gave you that good musical education as you're growing up in the 80s, and I'm glad that you are. Class of 86 rules. Okay, 88's pretty good. They're pretty good too. Okay, you're right in the right era. We're in the same vicinity. We've chewed the same dirt musically. But who is playing you the records, giving you the records when you're a young little Tara Kye? And I'm guessing you're in Canada somewhere.
I am in White Rock, British Columbia, Canada, and I grew up not too far from where I live right now. And I am very fortunate that my parents love music. And growing up, one of our childhood friends was Jaylene, a DJ on CFOX. And so she would come over and she'd bring all of the latest vinyl. As I was growing up, I was about 8 or 10 years old. I was learning to play the saxophone. So she would bring over things like, Jay Giles Band, Dirty Laundry, George Michael's, Careless Whispers, George Thorogood. And, as a family, we would sit down and we discuss them. And then I listened to music. So therefore, I listened to everybody in my family. And I listened to my grandmother. So I listened to Oklahoma and Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, Andrew Lloyd Webber. So I learned opera as well. And I learned jazz. My dad liked jazz, so I learned some jazz stuff, Autumn Leaves and all those great standards. My mom was really a rock and roll all the way. And my father was more kind of country, classical, opera, whatever he could get his hands on, we would listen to. But I would say that my greatest ear for music probably came from having Jaylene as a DJ sitting in my living room, once a week with all the brand new songs. And she was discussing, what would work and what would not work. And I love music. I love pop music. And I really look up to people like Lady Gaga and Madonna for breaking down the boundaries of every single genre and being able to just get their music heard. I'm breaking into 2 different projects now. I'm going to be working with Fear Escape, who is an Italian film sync producer. And we have a new song that I'm doing called Paris. And that will be released very soon. It'll be me on sax and myself with another lady, Jeannie Dum, that'll be playing with me. And we are also starting to embark upon setting up a performance band.
Well, that leads me to my next question. How many languages do you speak? Because you have a Spanish song. I think there's some French in one of the songs. How many languages do you speak? And where did your love of language come from?
Well, my love of language originates from my love of people and all cultures. I just love to learn about everybody from every different culture. It's just a total passion for me. And the songs that are on my album currently are Spanish. I did study opera, so I did learn to sing in German, Italian, French, and Spanish. I also studied Latin in university. So Latin and Greek roots are the roots of all of the Romantic languages. So I love to be able to get that one word, like ooh la tentacion, because tentacion is temptation, and it's the same word in French, Spanish, and Italian.
Yeah, I'm half Cuban from Miami, so I speak Spanish, and I worked on a Spanish radio station, so I know just enough Spanish to do a bilingual radio station. But to have all those languages in your pocket, I'm guessing, did you learn some of those songs phonetically, or did you actually delve in to every one of those languages and at least have some kind of a conversational ability in some of them?
I learned those phonetically, and I'm privileged that my grandmother's really good friend, Arturo Montesino, gave me tutoring in Spanish. So he tutored me in those particular songs, and I said, this is what I'm looking to say. So, for example, it says, hermoso hombre, for a reason, because I believe that men can be beautiful. And when I say a beautiful man, I mean beautiful as in beautiful to look at, beautiful to listen to, beautiful to talk to, beautiful to be with.
That is fantastic. Right? See, okay. The beauty, I think all people are beautiful. All women, all men are beautiful. They have the ability to be good. And I wish there was no war. And we can talk about your views on the world or what have you. But I know that in your songs, when you write a song, you have the power to send a message to people, to give them, you give them a positive message or a negative message. There are songs that do both. And you choose, for the most part, I've been listening at least to the ones that are on your YouTube page. Those are the ones that are most accessible to me. And I see you've been at least doing it for the last 6 years. And I know, just reading your bio, that you didn't really start the music until later in life, till a tragedy happened. But, you can talk about that if you'd like. But, you had a great start with the DJ. I remember being a DJ back in '86 when I started, and they would hand me records. Here's the brand new record. Here you go. And I would go, what is it? Oh, Midnight Oil, Beds Are Burning. I've never heard this before. Put it on the platter. Take a listen. Oh, I like it. Boom. Put it on the air. You have the ability, that DJ that was in your house had the ability to find a new artist and break them out to the world. Maybe she had 1,000 listeners. Maybe she had 1 million listeners, So you have, that's my job. I don't play music. I don't write music. I love music. I listen to music. I like listening, hearing people like you, Tarakai, and breaking out that music. Like, I'll be at the club this weekend, and I'll put up some of your music videos, and people are going to go, who is that? Oh, I'll say that's Kye Maines. Look her up on the YouTube. Look her up on her website. Check her out. That's my job. And that's the symbiosis that we are. And I know that you don't just play and write music, but you also help other people as well. You like to share other people's music. Once you get to a certain level, you want to teach the future. You want to, you're not only making stuff for yourself, but you're also helping out others. It's a great thing. It's a good power you have. Uh-oh. Hold on. Go ahead. Sorry. It's something that's extremely exciting, and I find I'm very passionate about music, and I'm very passionate about all the artists that I get the chance to meet, know, work with. And, the more that I grow as an artist, the more people that I meet, the more artists that I meet, the more people I want to collaborate with. So I'm very fortunate that I had the upbringing with my DJ friend, who was Jaylene of Seafox, and that's a 500,000 watt station. So she was really well known. And I also did saxophone back then. So I learned the saxophone, and I've been playing saxophone since I was 14 years old.
Then I got sick. I had cancer, and it was right on all my vocal cords. And my oncologist said, well, there's something you're repressing. I'm like, well, duh, it's my voice. I've always wanted to sing. So I'm 25 years old. I finally get the cure from cancer. And I said, okay, well, actually, I didn't get the cure from cancer. I had a 6-month sentence. And I decided, no, I'm not ready to go yet. So I decided that I always wanted to learn how to sing, and I was going to learn how to sing if it was the end of me, and that was what I was going to do. So I learned how to sing. I took opera lessons when I was 25 after doing a university degree in biochemistry and genetics, and then I started writing songs. I started writing songs in about 1997, but I didn't really get too serious until about 2013 when I went through my second divorce. And then I called up my buddy, John Dean, and I said, hey, John Dean, let's get that album that we always wanted to get done, right? Like, I'm ready. I got some material. And so Molten Metal was born. And from that point on, we've just been recording and singing. And now I'm on to the next stage. We're putting together a performance band. I'm not going to be performing with John Dean, but I'm performing with his blessing, and I'll be performing his songs. The new band's name is going to be Nefarious Ways. And I'm very, very fortunate to have some amazing band members come to play with me. I'm going to be playing with Paul Linney, and I'm going to be playing with some people that have played with David Allan Coe. So I'll be playing with Frizzy Man and Bibi Lee. And we brought into the team Warren Nichols and also Jenny Duham. So it's an exciting journey, and we're writing our first song right now. It's going to be called Kiss Me Quiet.
Well, let's back up a little bit and talk about John Dean, because it seems like he is a very important part of your life. And I'm reading your bio, of course. It says you had Hodgkin's lymphoma. I'm not sure exactly what kind of cancer that is, but it sounds ominous, sounds deadly. And I'm glad that you made it through. Tell me, how did you make it through? Was it chemo? Was it medicine? How did you make it through that?
Man, I'll never forget that time. I was 24 years old. I just graduated from university. I was getting married, and I found lumps on the back of my neck on December the 24th, 1993 at 4:30 p.m. I'll never forget that date, never forget that time. And I knew right away it was bad. But we didn't find it. And then by the time we actually did find it, it was in stage 2B, moving into stage 3. So it was both sides of my neck, across my groin. It was in my liver, it was in my spleen, and it was moving into my lungs. And, bit of big bang, right? The wedding was canceled. We still got married, but I didn't get the big white wedding dress. The wedding dress didn't fit me. I lost 30 pounds in 2 weeks. I went from 120 pounds down to 90 pounds. And so I was sick. And then my parents said, well, we're really sorry you're not going to be able to get married in the way that we wanted to get you married in. So instead of that, we know you've always wanted to play piano, and now you've got this time. So they bought me a digital keyboard to learn how to play the piano. And it was the best thing and it was the worst thing, because with the chemo, I couldn't feel my fingers. And John but I loved the piano. And so, but I was in so much pain. It was just insane, the amount of vein pain that I would go through with this chemotherapy. And, thank goodness in Canada, we were able to use things like medical marijuana with a prescription. I used to take the leaves of marijuana and I would steep them in green tea with blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and cinnamon. And I would drink that to take away the vein pain. But being able to learn a new instrument was almost impossible with the challenges of the nerve damage from the chemotherapy. So John Dean came into my life at that time, and John Dean was my piano teacher. And the most amazing person. John Dean's the most amazing person. He would come straight over to my place and he would teach me arpeggios and scales and exercises that balanced my arm so that my vein would not be in pain. And I remember one night I was so frustrated because I had this beautiful piano, and the piano was the only thing I ever wanted to learn to play all of my life. I wanted to play this piano. Finally, I got this piano. I've got the time, and I've got so much pain. I can barely even handle my hands. And it was like 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep. The pain was up. I put on my headphones because I had the digital piano, and I said, I am going to play. I'm going to play. Nobody's going to stop me. No, 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 no. And I sat there and I played and I played and I played until the pain went away. I just had tears just streaming down my face. And somehow the euphoria of listening to the piano, of achieving my dream of playing, and the movement of my arm with the piano, it relieved the vein pain.
Yeah, the body is incredible. It wants to be painless. You're not supposed to be in pain. So the body is going to do everything in its power to try to get you to be out of pain and through the medicine. Yeah. And I've talked to plenty of people on this podcast about cannabis that are advocates. And I think one was the vice president of cannabis in I don't know, for all of Florida. But, some big thing. But they've talked about how that, as long as you're medically advised, to go ahead and go through. I'm glad that it's getting regulated, because before, when it was unregulated, you never knew what you were going to get. But now you have that ability to regulate your pain through the cannabis, yes, through other medicines.
I'm a biochemist and I'm a geneticist from UBC, and I studied oncogenetics and immunogenetics at the master's level. And one of the things that we don't know enough about are all the hidden ingredients. So for example, when I said I took the leaves and I steeped that, I got the CBD, I got a little bit of THC in that, right? But it's all of the other bioflavonoids that are part of that tea leaf that are actually healing. And they have the principles and the ability to both heal as well as give you relief from pain. All right. Like that tea was insane. It was so good. I would have no pain from the veins. I would feel relaxed and I would be able to eat, and I would be able to eat and hold my food down without nausea, without wanting to throw it all back up again. And so it was fabulous. I'd take the tea, I'd play the piano, I'd eat, I'd go to sleep, and then I got better. It was like miracle.
It sounds like it. I mean, because it sounds like you got through it in a year or so. Is that what it was?
I had 10 months of intense chemotherapy, and I'm very fortunate that I caught it when I did. And by the way, I am 100% cancer free. And December the 24th, 4:30 p.m., 2023, that's my 30-year clear. And I tell you, I am going to party.
Get it. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, that leads me into your, everybody's got a day job. Everybody's got many different interests in their life. Tell me about this NPK growing. Are you into the farming as well? Do you grow things?
Absolutely. I'm a biochemist and I'm a geneticist. So I work in farming. I work in agriculture, and I consult for farms of all kinds. I take care of sweet corn, cowgrass, turf, golfs, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, currants, gooseberries, tree fruits, including cherries, peach, plum, apple, vineyards. I also take care of broad acre crops. I've taken care of wheat, soybeans, oatmeal, oats, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, beets, carrots, peas, green peas.
Tara Kye Maines, you are growing the food for the people. This is the most the most important job, of anyone. It's got to be up there. Top 5 jobs. Farmer, growing the food for people to live. We have 8 billion people. I think we just hit 8 billion very recently. And we need to feed all those people, and you're helping.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you not only went to school, but you went all the way in your field, and you actually learned. I mean, I've been to college a bunch of times. I never really got that far. I like doing, I was a EMT, a paramedic, a firefighter, radio school,
Nice.
communications, just little certificates here and there. Oh, there's a 1-year program for that, a 2-year program for that, a 6-month program for that. These are the things that I can do. But you actually went through 4 years, 6 years, and became 5 years, 5 extra years after you graduate high school, and you go all the way. It's just so you could learn how to feed people. And that's fantastic. All right. And all right.
Well, it's not just about feeding people. It's about feeding people higher nutritional dense foods. And I take it one step further because I had cancer. And most people have this misconception that these farmers, we go out there and we go, oh, yay, we're going to spray. I haven't got a single farmer that says, oh, yay, I've got to spray. Normally it's like, really? Do I have to? I don't really want to spray, right? The farmers take a great amount of pride in producing beautiful food because guess what? They're people too, and they love to eat. There is actually nothing more rewarding than walking through a field and being able to pick some fruit or some of the crop and take that home and share it with your family. And one of the most beautiful things that my farmers do for me is they do give me gifts. They give me gifts of their harvest to take it home so that I can share it with my family, my loved ones, my relatives. And there's this whole thing that we are missing as a culture and as a community about growing food, about sharing it with one another, about caring about each other, about making sure that everybody's healthy and happy and well fed. I mean, really, isn't that what we all are as a community?
Yeah, people worry so much. What's organic? What's natural? Should I buy something just because it has that label on it? Is
definitely
it really
not?
Yeah, is it really organic? Is it really natural? Is pretty much any blueberry that I get, isn't that going to be fine? I don't know.
Well, the thing is that the farmers do their very best to spend as little money as possible on sprays. And they don't want to spray, but they also don't want you to have poor quality fruits or poor quality foods. And in many cases, the organic chemicals are almost exactly the same as the conventional chemicals. We're moving towards soft chemistry. Unfortunately, we haven't let the public know the softness of the chemicals. So, for example, I have to go out and physically scout the field to determine which bugs are there or which diseases are there. Because if I spray for the wrong thing, I'm not going to get the target that I need to get. And it might be something as simple as, Safer soap or Copa, which can or cannot be conventional or organic, depending on the manufacturing facility. I prefer to get into more things like sustainable agriculture because I think that we need to start recycling and reusing products more. Recycling scraps into fertilizer is the way of the future because we need to stop throwing things out and we need to start using them properly and finding good use for our waste. And being sustainable means providing food at a price that's sustainable for the people to eat it, but also for the farmers to grow it. And so sustainability is recycling, and recycled products generally do not fall into organics. So I believe that we need to get to be out of the no chemical, and we need to go more into sustainability. And in fact, plants are actually the answer to our climate crisis. Green plants produce both water and oxygen. The water is evapotranspiration underneath the leaves and oxygen. And we need to start changing our minds. Planting white clover, for example, provides more oxygen and more water than planting grass. So having a grass clover mixture is drought resistant and it helps the environment. So plants consume the carbon and turn it into water and oxygen. So basically, plants are the sponges. And when we stop watering plants and they go from green to brown, then we stop cleaning up the mess that we're making and we're creating climatic disasters for ourselves.
Man, I appreciate the passion that you have. I knew I was wondering if I was going to be able to take you down this path, because I wanted to ask you about the vegetables and the NPK growing. I know that might be the day job that affords you to do the night job, the passion job. Well, I mean, it's from how you talk about even the growing job, that's passionate as well. I can hear it in your voice, and I wonder, okay, and maybe this will be the last little bit, because the GMO thing, I think that, and this is me, genetically modified stuff, we do that, we've done that since the dawn of time, since we learned about vegetables, how to make them better, how to make them tastier, how to make them grow better. Isn't that what genetic modification is? Why is that such a polarizing statement or phrase?
Well, it's like anything that people hear or read. They automatically start to assume some of the worst things. And genetically modified organisms is what GMO is. And we've been doing genetically modifying of organisms since the beginning of time. It's called plant breeding. So if I take the pollen from one flower and I wipe it onto the stigmata of another flower, I have created a genetically modified organism.
Yeah.
Right? So blueberries, for example, they have pollen from other plants or other blueberry bushes near them, and they pollinate onto that blueberry. So there's that potential for genetics and plant breeding right there. The fear comes in when you've got places or people making massive changes into plants, such as the Roundup Ready corn or the Roundup Ready soybean. And then, well, if it's Roundup Ready, then nothing will kill it, right? Well, there's always going to be a herbicide that can kill things. Unfortunately, the Roundup Ready corn and the Roundup Ready soybeans have been designed to be able to feed the masses. We have 8 billion people, and we need to feed 8 billion people. We need to have the quality and the quantity increased. And this is not something that's possible on heritage or heirloom properties. So genetically modified organisms really aren't as scary as people believe them to be. I don't know. They think that they've taken monkey DNA and they put them into corn plants. And you know what? Genetics would not let that happen. The genetic code is so closely conserved that if you are 0.00001% mutated from the original part, that resultant will not even be possible or probable. And genetics just creates this whole magic, like with the mRNA vaccinations for COVID and stuff like that. There's so much bad press, but there's so much potential and there's so much possibility. What if we could learn to take the mRNA from a person and regrow them a limb after they've had a car accident? Or perhaps we could even learn to regrow a heart. And instead of having to have heart transplants, maybe we could take that person's personal genetic DNA from their mRNA and grow them a new heart. The possibilities of genetics are truthfully very limitless. And we are limited by the fear that we have of how it might be misused. And, honestly speaking, we've had some really terrible people that have used really amazing products for really bad things. Like, sorry to say this, but, Nazis, mustard seed gas, right? I mean, mustard seed gas can be used agriculturally, injected into the soils, and it can have some amazing benefits, right? But unfortunately, we get these people that want to do really bad things. And it's not necessarily the science that's bad. I think it's maybe the people.
Yeah, I fully believe that most people are so good. There are those bad apples, bad actors, and there's only one Hitler, and I'm surprised that he showed up on this podcast. But and Nazis in general. But hey, you never know what you're going to get listening to the What Makes You Famous podcast. But Tara Kye, thank you for enlightening me a little bit about the food. You said it in the beginning that farmers are not just growing food for other people; they're growing food for themselves. So why are they going to genetically modify anything that's going to be harmful, to the environment or to themselves? And you're talking about growing limbs. the first time I saw, and I was watching some documentary, some science program where they grew an ear onto a mouse to replace, or was it maybe it was on a pig, just to replace an ear that someone had lost during a conflict. Oh, just amazing. That's just the beginning. I can see in watching science fiction often, when you watch those movies and those television shows, they become science fact. It's so odd, because I saw what was a Spider-Man movie where his foe, the crocodile, was working with crocodiles because they can grow limbs. And he was trying to grow a limb on people that had amputations. But that's that's a fascinating field of research.
Oh, get me going here, right? Like, have a look at the Star Wars machines, right? And then go look at some of the farmer machines. All right, you'll see where some of these monsters came from. these massive equipment that's used out in the farms are actually very similar to what you see in sci-fi. And Star Trek, back when we were kids, right? We had communicators that were right here on their chest. Well, now we do have those things. They're called cell phones.
Yeah, we got them. I can put it right here. I can put it on my watch, like Dick Tracy. Yeah. Oh my goodness! But science fiction becomes science fact. Let's quickly change gears back, because I don't want to take all your time talking about agriculture. Although I do, I could talk to you for hours about growing food for the people, because I'm a fan of food. Have you seen me? If you're watching the video, you could see I got a couple extra lbs. I like food a lot, and I'd like to get more of the green food, more of the orange food, more of the vegetable type food. And thankfully, I have a wife that cooks for me and makes me some really good food, and tries to steer me away from the greasy hamburgers that I love so much, and the steaks. But I have to really have an appreciation, and she feeds me the greens and the vegetables.
Well, the meats aren't that bad. We do have a place for them within our digestive systems for eating proteins. And, a lot of people are very misinformed, because manure is a very, very beautiful fertilizer. In fact, it's one of the very best fertilizers. And I regularly study it, and I take samples and I analyze it for the nutrient qualities and quantities, so that I can make sure that the fertilizer that we choose to use in conjunction with the manures are appropriate.
That's fantastic. You never know what you're going to get here. You are so well-rounded, And I know manure is good.
There's a reason the glove goes all the way up, guys.
Yeah, but I learned that in Back to the Future. Biff got manure. Oh, manure. Whole piles of it being put onto the farm trucks. Yes,
that's right.
Do you have a farm at your house? I know that the farmers are giving you big baskets of goodies to bring home. But do you have any kind of a little farm in your house? Do you grow anything?
Oh, it's always been a dream of mine to have a farm, but I am single, so therefore I don't have a farm of my own, because I dedicate all my time to my agriculture day job and my music, which I love my music and I love to write. And it's interesting because, there's nothing more that I love to do than to come home and sing or write a song or, play my saxophone or get together with some of my musician friends and jam it all out. And I'm super looking forward to the opportunity to start performing with the new band. And I'm the friendship that I've had with John Dean. I'm really grateful for the friendship that I've had with John Dean for 29 years now, and coming up to the 30 year here, December 24th, 2023. John Dean is married himself, and he's got a beautiful wife, and and we just have a really great time writing songs together. And I'm looking forward to writing some new songs with some new people. Like I've got Pure Escape that I'm writing some new songs with, Jenny Duane that I'm writing some new songs with, and Nefarious Ways that I'm writing new songs with. Now, I will never, ever, ever not write songs with John Dean, because John Dean, he's my brother, he's my family. We've been friends for 30 years. And when you're a singer-songwriter and you're doing music, man, you got to be on the same wavelength, and you got to have that same rhythm and that same drive. John Dean and I, we get in the studio together and we start writing. Sometimes he's correcting and I'm correcting, and we're saying the same lyric at the same time, or we're saying we want to change something the same way. That's how long we've worked together. And only now would I say that we've actually really found that zone of writing where we complete each other's thoughts sometimes. And it's just a great friendship, and I'm super grateful to have such a great friendship.
Well, you mentioned that he's married and you're single, and that, I know when I was a single man, I was able to do more things in the entertainment field. If I wanted to go cross country and play at different clubs or different parties all across the country, I had that ability to do it. Being a touring musician is hard on a family. So I can see why John Dean maybe wants to stay at home. Maybe I'm just projecting. That's possible. He wants to stay close. But, I could see that you have the ability, fortunately or unfortunately, that you are single. I mean, are you currently single and searching, or single and loving it?
I am single and I'd say searching. And when I find the right person, I'll be very grateful. But I love to be able to perform, and I love to do the music, and I love my agriculture. So I have a very, very broad spectrum of interests, and I can be intimidating to a lot of men. Yes, because I'm a biochemist and a geneticist. I'm a singer-songwriter. And I'm strong because I work in the farm fields. I can swamp my truck. I can load and unload 1 ton of fertilizer. I can do 3 full trucks. So that means I've loaded and unloaded 6 times by hand. So I'm a little strong.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm appreciative of a partner that doesn't need me, but still wants to be with me anyways. You find that someone that, okay, you're, self-sufficient. You can do things on your own. You don't need anybody, but you find that somebody that you connect with, and it makes you feel good, makes you happy. That pursuit of happiness. I hope you find that pursuit of happiness. But right now, you're pursuing your happiness now is that, besides the agriculture, is that music, making music. Now, are you going to be touring across Canada, or maybe into the States, or are you staying closer to home?
I am looking to try to relocate down into the United States, and I'm going to try to do some local shows from where it is that I relocate to, and ramp up into that future of a tour if the music takes off.
Do you have any spots that you're looking into, or do you have any prospects of where you might relocate to?
Well, I would say that the United States is wide open. It depends on who wants me and where they want me, and that'll be where I go.
What's funny is a lot of the people in the United States are thinking about heading north to Canada, and here you are coming south. But you... Well... Yeah, go ahead.
There's more people down in the South than there are in Canada, eh? Like, we have 38 million people, in Canada. And I can go down to Los Angeles, and there's 19 million people in Los Angeles City alone. So, it isn't that the Canadians don't want to come and see us, eh? They're just not that many of us, right?
I know for sure. I lived down in Miami, born and raised down in Miami, Florida, and there were 7 million people on my block. So you could, there's room to be an entertainer. There's club after club after club, restaurant after restaurant, stage after stage for you to perform at. There's so many places that you can, there's room for everyone. And I know that you like to promote other people as well as yourself. But there's room for everyone in this business we call show. But I mentioned already earlier that you do not limit yourself. When you go to a Tara Kye show, when somebody gets off their couch from in front of their big screen TV, can they expect to hear all these different types of music that you've been doing at least for the last 6 years, and all these different genres that are on the YouTube page, from country to pop to rock to rap? You're a rapper?
Yeah, I do rapping too, yes.
It's crazy.
Well, what we're planning to do is there's going to be Tara Kye, and those shows with Tara Kye are going to be the ones that are true to what you hear. And then we have a different program where we've got Tarakai and Nefarious Ways. And we're going to be re-releasing all of my previous material and some new material, but it will be countrified. So it'll be, outlaw country, southern rock, kind of bluegrass, acoustic. So we're going to take some of the old favorites like Ooh La 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 Tentacion, Mi Amor Te Amo Mas, and we're going to give you a Tex-Mex version on Tarakai and Nefarious Ways. And if you're seeing Tarakai, you're going to get the traditional Spanish with the Latin.
Now that would be the double bill right there, where you open for yourself. Tarakai opening for Nefarious Ways. Could you imagine the minds that you blow? You do one set, maybe a 45-minute set of your own songs, and then boom, the band comes up, and who's in the front? Oh, it's Tarakai again, doing different types of music.
No, what the plan is I'm going to be working with, it's going to be called Tarakai and Nefarious Ways.
Yes.
And that will be the countrified set.
Yes.
And 79 Octane will be opening up for us. And then Tarakai might show up with some of her world music friends. Like, one day I hope to actually play with Anselm. That would be so cool. Or like we've got Mark Antony, and I'd love to go and play with him. Right? Sing with him on stage and stuff like that. So I've got friends that are in the world music pop area, and I would take Tarakai and perform world music pop various ways and perform that.
Yeah, your
Tarakai,
voice. No.
Tarakai and Nefarious Ways, and we're going to perform that countrified with 79 Octane, or maybe a Ronnie Cal or a Randy O'Neill, like some of the friends that I've made through music and through big records. I'm actually really excited to have made all of these new connections and experience all these new people through big records. And I think we also just met up with a Michael Bott band as well, and a CeCe Brooks, and and we've got Dusty Marcus, who's kind of a little bit more pop. And then I've got Bruce Coughlin, who is, country, and I've got all these beautiful world people. I've got Debrion, who is jazz, and I, could see myself doing like a little bit of a jazzy set with the Tarakai and getting into some funk. Like we got you, put your phone down, and where is that man? I can grab that saxophone out and tootle away. So, the whole thing about music is that it's an active verb to play. And most people they take it so serious. And I'm like, no, I just want to play, right? And whatever the song is that I write, the genre comes after the lyrics, usually. And so I write the lyrics, then the genre comes out and it fits with the lyrics. And I like to do fusions, right? So for example, that rap song, well, that's a hip hop, Italian opera, gangster rap song, so I wouldn't just want to, do something just like a rap song. So, that way I kind of feel like I'm getting close to like a Lady Gaga thing. She's my ultimate idol. I love Lady Gaga, and I love Taylor Swift, and I love Madonna. I love all of these artists that are coming out, breaking down all the boundaries of music. And this new country is so much different than the traditional country was. We have so many different subsets within country now. We've got Tex-Mex, we got a little bit of two-step, we got a little bit of traditional country, and I love traditional country. And, I'm really sad to have lost one of my really good friends, Glenn Kane. And I did write a song with him, and that will be being recorded and released with Tarakai and Nefarious Ways in the near future. So it's kind of a neat way. He always wanted to make it into the top 10. He always wanted to have a number one song. So maybe we can give that to him in his afterlife and in heaven. That would be a neat little gift to give to Glenn Kane in heaven.
Glenn Kane was definitely a nice man to talk to. He loved music. Oh my goodness, he loved music, and he loved doing what he did. Loved being in front of people and entertaining. That's what an entertainer does. You can make a song, you can play it, in your room, in your studio, in your, wherever you're at, and play it for yourself. But until you get in front of that crowd, in front of the masses, whether it be 10 people or 10,000 people, and yeah, 10,000 is great because you get all that energy coming back to you, and it's a symbiosis. It just flows back and forth. I don't know how much you believe in any of that, but I know that I'm playing for crowds,
I totally believe it.
I feel it.
And like my band members in nefarious ways, they're like, kind of led by the drummer. And the drummer's like, well, nobody ever listens to the drummer. And I'm like, well, I'm a sax player. Yeah, I listen to you first.
The rhythm section is the most important thing. The drum and the bass. That's what keeps the flow going.
Thank you.
My goodness.
That's the heartbeat of the band. And he's like, well, he's giving me these coaching for going out on stage. And he's like, well, you remember when you were a kid and you'd be jumping off the living room couch or jumping off the bed? He said, you got to channel that inner child out of you, right? And so I've never really had a problem with what people think of me. So I'm excited to have the opportunity to get out there and play and perform and just be a kid. And I'm grateful that I've got this group of people that I'm going to be working with that have got a very childlike, beautiful energy to work with, because I think it's just going to be a blast. I think we're going to put on a show that's just going to be really fun and amazing to watch. Because if we're not having fun, how are you guys going to have fun watching us?
Well, tell me about the people in nefarious ways. How did you get together with this band? How did you figure out that was this a band that was already put together, or this is something that a brand new project?
It's a brand new project. Paul Linney listened to my songs and he's like, you know what? I'm going to be your drummer. I'm going to put together a band for you, and you're going to play with us, and you're going to have the time of your life. And I said, okay, that sounds good. Sign me up. And so then Paul Linney brought in Frizz Man, and Frizzy Man is the bass player, bass player for David Allan Coe. And Frizzy brought in Bibi Lee, and Frizzy brought in Warren Nichols. And I said, well, I want my friend Jenny Dahm to come in too, because Jenny Dahm has got this beautiful voice. And I have never met somebody that has a voice that complements my voice as well. And I think that's why I think that her voice is beautiful, right? Because it sounds like me. But, it's really neat because when we sing together, you can't tell where I stop and where she starts. I'm a little bit more of a soprano, and I'm a little bit more gentle in my approach. But, we'd do two different voices for sure. But I'm excited to be able to have her on stage with me, and the idea of, trading lead. Because I would like to play with my saxophone, and she can sing my lead when I'm playing saxophone. So I'm like, yeah, dude, that rocks for me.
Well, Tara Kye, that says a lot about you, is that you work well with others. You're not a diva. Okay. Some ladies would want to be on the stage and have the spotlight on them, and the band all in the darkness. I don't see that.
That brings me to the newest song that I'm writing with Fear Escape and Jenny Dahm. And there's one line, and she did a much better job in French than I did in French. And I'm like, you know what? Let her do it. Let her play the lead there. And I'm really grateful that Marco decided to give her that lead in the first French verse. And so, I'm all about opportunity, because we rise way higher than we could ever imagine when we take our friends with us.
Yes, don't look down on anyone unless you're trying to reach down and pick them up with you. Oh my goodness! You mentioned, Madonna. I remember her on MTV. One of the greatest things that she ever said was, "I'm going to take over the world." Oh, and she did. And Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift. You mentioned these icons, and I could see you're heading in that direction. You're going to be one of those icons. I want you there. Yes, I want you on the pedestal, the Mount Rushmore of what is it? Ladies music, maybe, or just music in general. I want you up
music
there.
Music in general.
Yes.
Music in general.
Yes. Because you can do it all. You have no limits. Oh, metal, rap, funk, country, jazz. Oh, you pick it. You play it. Now,
opera, classic.
Opera. Oh my goodness. And hey, what's your favorite musical?
Oh, that would have to be Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dream.
Okay. I like West Side Story. I was just wondering.
But the first one that I ever got turned on to opera one was Oklahoma. And oh, what a beautiful morning. And I mean, if you look at that one song, it really kind of encompasses everything about me, with the fields and the corn and the opera and the singing. And
yeah, I like that. And especially it's as a play, it's very cut and dry with the scenery, where it doesn't have to be on location. It could be a backdrop. If you're putting on that have you ever done a play or a musical?
Yes, actually, I performed in musicals and plays when I was doing the voice coaching and the voice training, and I was super lucky. You know who I trained with? I trained with Gary Zellers. Gary Zellers in 1997 was probably in his 90s, and he was the tenor in Vancouver that Joan Sutherland would choose and select to play the lead roles with her whenever she was in town. And he had this beautiful voice. And so I was trained in something that he called the natural voice technique. And so he didn't train me in head voice, chest voice. It was where it comes from. And he would and he was a German man, and he'd be like snapping my nose and hitting my chest. And, and he would take his hand and he'd push against my stomach, right? And then he realized, he goes, wait a second here. He says, you're strong. He says, you need to not push. You need to back off.
People from the old country have a different way of teaching. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
the Russian coaches and the Eastern European coaches and in whatever, in ballet, in gymnastics, they have a different way of teaching. They will hit you in the chest and tell you to get straight.
He would get up from the piano and he would take his hand and he'd knock on my head. Are you listening?
Of course he would. Of course. And you don't take it as being anything but loving. Okay. This is the way that he's teaching, and you're the better for it. Okay. It's almost like a little paddle. Hey, get right. I had a shoe throwing mother. She threw shoes at me when I got out of line, and I'm thankful for it. I'm glad she did that. I needed a shoe thrown at me. Because if she didn't throw shoes at me, I wouldn't be a fine, upstanding citizen like I am today. All right. But hey, you got things coming up. Do you have anything lined up where you're going to be going out on the road, or is this still percolating? And where can people find out, where you're going to be next if they want to catch a Tower of Kye show?
Well, I just signed with Big Records World label. And so you'll start to see some new information on Big Records World label. I'll be one of the new artists there. They're putting up my electronic press kit, and we are going to start planning from there. So hopefully I'll be out performing very soon. I don't know where I'm going to start yet, but I'm excited to come and see you guys all as soon as I can. Well,
I know that you have the TaraKyeMusic.com, and that is the spot that I want everybody to go to first and foremost, because you have spots there to buy your music as well. I mean, are people making money, with music? Is the streaming working at all? Are you getting at least $1 in your residual check? Is something coming to you from that, or is it all live performing?
I would say that I'm at the start of being able to earn money as an artist. And I would say that there's a variety of different ways that people earn money. And I'm looking at all opportunities. So I'm looking at streaming, I'm looking at performing, I'm looking at merchandising. I also hope that perhaps maybe some of my songs might get sync licensed and on TV and on film, which would be beautiful. The other thing that I'd like to do is get my music onto sheet music, because some of my songs are actually, Royal Conservatory grade 5 to grade 8. Studyable, right? Forever One would definitely be in there. You can learn some songs like some of my Spanish songs. Those will also be Royal Conservatory because they are of a classical Latin beat. And, those are places to be able to earn money. So the other place to earn money is being a face or a spokesperson. And I can't even think of a more beautiful thing to do than to be a spokesperson for music, but also for agriculture. Because you know what? The plants can't talk for themselves. And I want to have a voice for those plants because they're very important to our world, our universe, and to our healthiness. And they're also, plants are the key to making water. Plants make water. Hello, why are we killing them and letting them go brown? So there's so many different ways in which people can make money. And having been self-employed for the last 12 years, you learn. You have to be able to create your own income streams. And the one thing that I really truthfully very much love about working with Big Records World label is that it's a hybrid label. It's a hybrid label of independent artists, and they take on crazy people like me who want to be able to create this wonderful career, not just for myself, but everybody else that's on the team. So as the team member, I'm one of the influencers for the team. And so, I get the privilege and opportunity to talk to all of these artists individually and to find out about who they are, what makes them tick, why they like music. And then I just encourage them to share their story. And, these people are so beautiful and they've got such amazing stories to share. And I'm so excited to be part of that adventure and part of that experience and journey with them. I mean, it's people that make your life great and people that make your life rich and food that make you healthy. So, we need to stop thinking about, it's the best car, because I don't care what kind of car you drive. In fact, personally, I drive a pickup truck, and I really like my pickup truck because I can go in any farm field. Yeah. And there's nothing more fun than, pulling up to, a gas station and I got like mud falling off my truck and I get, I'm covered head to toe in mud. My truck's covered head to toe in mud. I got a smile on my face because I'm having a great time. But I also really like my pickup truck because I can throw in, musical equipment, my gear, and I can pack up and I can go for a heck of a long time. I can tow a trailer. I have no problems towing trailers, 26-foot bumper tow. Next on the dockets, I'm going to have to start getting used to a gooseneck. But apparently once you've, towed a 26-foot bumper tow on the back of an extended cab long box, a gooseneck is a lot more easy to drive than a massive unit. I'm a pretty okay driver. I can back it up straight and I can back it up straight and nice. I'm from Canada, so we learn how to do these crazy things. Wow.
You are such a well-rounded person. My goodness. I was thinking move over Lorax, because, Tara Kye is speaking for the plants. if the Lorax speaks for the trees, right?
Yeah. And you know what? I don't mind doing pruning and big prunes and big cuts. I work in tree fruits and I work in blueberries. And, I can prune with anything from like hand pruners to big pruners to, I have a collection. I have a pole chainsaw. I have a regular chainsaw. I got a pole hedge trimmer and I've got like a mechanical hedge trimmer too. And, leaf blower, and I can use all the power tools, and I don't mind getting up on the ladders and doing these things myself. And I do workshops too, so I teach people how to prune their bushes correctly.
See, working with your hands, that's another fantastic skill to have. That makes you a very valuable member of society. You can do several different types of things. Writing music and entertaining people. Yes, that gets people away from their day jobs and the troubles. You're changing minds, changing feelings, making people feel good. But you're feeding people and you're doing hard work.
How I started writing. That's how I started writing. Is my farmers would have like a really bad day, and I started telling them jokes. Yeah. And, I try to relate to the plants in a personal way, right? Like, the blueberries aren't as big as they need to be because, I've got really good mamas here, the blue crops, but they've got really bad daddies. The blue crop daddies are really bad. They're like weekend fathers. They're never home. They're never here. They don't have anything to do with their babies once they come in. You need to have really good dads. So the Dukes make better dads. And the Dukes are good mommies and daddies, so they get big fruit, right? So you have to plant the Dukes beside the blue crop because the blue crop need the Duke daddies.
See,
so it was like those kinds of crazy stories that got me into and I'm like, wow, that's a cool line. I should go and write that down, right?
But you're not only writing songs that are there, you're going to teach people about agriculture through your music as well.
It's crazy.
Planting the blue daddies next to the red daddy. I didn't know anything about that.
I was having a conversation with somebody that I was having a conversation, and I was being really cheeky, and they used to hate it when I said that I was sorry. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Right. But I'm Canadian, right?
Yes.
If I wasn't sorry, I wouldn't be Canadian. Right. And, I have to be sorry because I am Canadian, and I'm sorry that you don't want to hear me say that I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Right. But that's just what Canadians do. And then this poor person said, well, oh Lord, what am I going to do with you? And I said, I don't know, kiss me quiet and maybe I'll shut up. And then I'm like, oh my God, wait a second. I better write that down.
Yes, that's a great line for a song. Oh my goodness. But you know what's funny is I think I wronged one of my coworkers yesterday, and I said, oh, I'm sorry. And I said, oh, I just went Canadian there. But it's a thing. You say a boot and you say sorry. These are things that you can't get away from. And I'm so happy that you are who you are.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, A.
And I listened to a podcast with Henry Winkler, and he came up with that A, when he was the Fonz. A. Yeah. So, oh my goodness. Well, I look forward.
And I also ride a motorcycle too.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Oh my goodness. I almost forgot. One of your songs what is it? The metal thing that was about, molten metal. It's about riding motorcycles. Uh-oh. Good.
Yes, I have a few motorcycle songs. I've got Chasing Rainbows. I've got Molten Metal. I've got Let's Go, Let's Go, Let's Go. And The Ride of Your Life. Those are my motorcycle songs because motorcycles are just so much fun. I just love riding.
Well, okay. All right. I'm going to leave that there. And this is going to be part one of Tara Kye Maines. As time progresses, I want you to come back here and chit chat with me. But I know I like to limit people's times in these things because I know and I'd like to be mindful. I don't want to be sorry that I kept you so long. So you've already given a few shout outs to people that have helped you along the way. I want you to give some shout outs to people that have helped you as you've grown up. You talked about your vocal coach and your piano teacher and, certainly all the people that have helped you. Give some shout outs.
One more person. My dad and my grandmother Maines and my grandmother Powell. My grandmother was actually a piano teacher, and her husband sold her piano one day. And so she divorced him and said, I'm never coming back. You got rid of my piano. So there you go. That's the piano story. And my grandmother Maines, she's the one that took me to the Oklahoma and got me going on opera. And my dad, he wanted to get rid of me. We were on the sailboat, so he made me go and play a saxophone on the shore while he was doing dishes so he could have some peace and quiet. And, I'm just very fortunate. My grandfather on my dad's side, he played banjo. We always had sing-songs around the fire, those sorts of great things. And, the people that I've met professionally. And I'm going to do a big shout out here for Mark Rosner as well from Big Records World, because Mark Rosner, he's just a real visionary person and he's super supportive. He's very kind and he really does a nice job of building the team and building the people up within the team. So, right now I'm working with the Big Records team. We're going to do a big festival, Rise Up TV Festival, November the 7th to 11th. And you're definitely not going to want to miss that. I'm probably not one of the people that are going to be one of the guest performers, but all my friends are going to play. So you got to go see my friends too, Kay.
All right. See, that's you building up other people, not just yourself. Oh my goodness. I like that so much about you. Works well with others. And you do collaborate. You're open to collaborations. So if people slide into your DMs, business only, or maybe romantic, I don't know. Maybe you can find the love of your life out there on the interwebs. Stranger things have happened. But most of the time it's at the grocery store, picking out fruit. That's where you find that love of your life. But I hope that happens for you if you want it. But other than that, we'll be the loves of your life. We'll be the ones that reap the rewards of you having time on your hands to write songs and entertain the people. So yes, let us be the loves of your life and enjoy the Tara Kye music. All right, Tara Kye. Hopefully we've scratched the surface of who you are. But hopefully we've gotten the people have an idea of who you are. But I always like to finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, maybe, a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Tara Kye Maines, give the last words for the people.
I would say sharing is caring. People matter. And what you do in this life is up to you. But if you choose to do good for others, you'll be richly rewarded by the good they'll do for you in return. So make your choices wisely, live your life well. But remember, sharing is caring. And in a social media world, the more you build up other people, the more you build yourself up too. Your friends along with you because it's lonely otherwise.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There you have it, party people. What a sweet lady, Tara Kye Maines. Oh my goodness. I know we had some minor technical difficulties due to this interweb situation, but I think it sounded pretty good. And she looked real good. And she's so nice. And she's so knowledgeable. Oh my goodness. Tara, you know your stuff. Tara Kye, you know your stuff about agriculture, about music. Not only you, and it feels like if you like a certain subject, you go all the way to learn that subject. You wanted to learn about genetics and bioengineering, and you went all the way. 5 years of college learning about how to help people make their food, the good food, not just food, but good food, good, clean food. And thanks for setting me straight and setting us straight on all this agriculture. People thinking that they put chemicals everywhere. The farmers don't want to have chemicals all over their stuff. They got to eat that food too, right? Right. Oh my goodness. And keep on doing that music. Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing more from you and the band. And hopefully, if you do get to the United States, you get close to Arkansas, and maybe I can come on over and see one of your shows. That would be great. All right. Well, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Thank you so much again, Tara Kye Maines, for being on the program. Hey, make sure you check out TaraKyeMusic.com and find out everything there is to know, and follow her around, stalk her on her various social medias. They're in the show notes below there. All right, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, yes, you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's keysdan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.